we're live. Hi, everybody. I'm Crystal from Fat Product Review. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So excited to have Rachel and Adam here today. We're going to talk about glasses for fat faces. Oh, it's not easy when you have a larger face or if you have a big melon. I have a big head and a fat face. So we're going to talk about all that fun stuff today. So welcome, you two. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Thank you.
So Adam,
Yes.
tell everybody how you are a specialist about your business and what you do specifically.
Well, I am a licensed optician here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I am also legally blind as well. And so usually when people think those two things go together, they're like, huh, a legally blind optician? It actually goes great together. And as someone who actually does have a large head for a guy too, as my mom would say, a large head is to hold all the knowledge. So people get self-conscious about that.
Yeah.
One of the things I feel like what was special about it was over the years, having seen various patients and the various markets of different frames, it's almost the same as like clothing stores. They will cater to their demographics, and it's hard to not take it personally. And there are manufacturers out there, like I go to the conventions, and they would have the larger frames. They're like, we'll make them. But some places are like, I don't know if I want to carry them. And part of me having to live it, it's like, well, let's offer this in the store itself, in the shop.
Yay. So like I've noticed in the past that my glasses, I stretch them this way. So that just means my melon's too big for that pair, right? And then of course a lot of fat babes have issues with areas around the cheeks.
Correct. Usually the case is that those tend to find the pressure points here, pressing up against the cheeks. I mean, there's nothing wrong with big cheeks because it's like you smile, looks good. You're right. It's usually here, and then right here. They're like, everything else fits fine on it, but then as soon as I put them on, I just feel the pressure right here. So one of the, I wouldn't say tricks of the trade, but one of the designs when we make wider frames is that usually we tend to have a wider bridge area. So that this spot here tends to go a little bit wider. Like the average is between 14 and 17 millimeters, whereas generally with plus size, we'll do 19 to 21 millimeters.
So I also have a big nose.
Which opens it this way. Yeah, some people think, well, I don't have a big bridge. It's not so much as the bridge, this area here, it just opens up the whole thing. Because it's either going to fit here, which is a saddle bridge, or more nose pads sit right here.
Right. Wonderful.
And with this part, usually what it is like I did with Rachel when hers were like, I'm feeling a little dizzy, because also too the shape of the lens is usually with plastic frames or metal is I'll heat this area here and I'll open it up like this. This is titanium, so I can stretch it, but I'll do this so it opens up the pair here. So this is still holding on, but then this gives just a little bit more pressure release. And then they're like, oh, that's so much better. It's just, it's like any other trade. You go someone who knows what they're talking about and understands what to do to help you out versus someone who's like, they may be nice people, but they're like, I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people get confused when a fat person comes to see them. But so Rachel, let's tell everybody a little bit about you and about your business, More to Love. And then also, Rachel, would you just give a blurb about how to learn more about the optician business and the glasses, where people could find you and stuff like that. And then I have a bunch of questions for you.
Sure. For those who know, Adam and I are the team here at Perception Optical. We are married. And in my not working in an optical shop life, I have a company called More to Love Yoga, where I specialize in helping larger bodies learn yoga and also just take health and wellness back into our own command, where we can feel that we're doing good things for ourselves, minus the shame, minus the whole just of being a larger body in the world. So for Perception here, Perception Optical, we're located in Arlington, Mass, which is just next door to Boston. So perceptionoptical.com. And like Adam was saying, Adam is really the guru with the technique, the style, the making it really work for you. And I'm more of the come on in, like let's play around, let's have fun with this. Just see that like it's possible for you to find frames that fit you and that you actually like wearing. And it's been really cool to be the only place pretty much in New England, well, not even just Boston, in New England, that carries a line specifically devoted for plus size faces called More to Love. I was actually kind of helping out on the back end when that company started to make these frames. So from the get-go, we were involved with just saying like larger bodies don't want to feel like an afterthought. Larger bodies just need, things that complement us, styles that are fresh and cool. So we carry that exclusively here.
And accommodate us, because we all know that we are 70% of the population and we have a lot of money to spend if you would let us. Right?
I always say, I don't, Adam, and I'm always like, we will pay to feel and look fabulous. Don't even, it's like not even like we will do it.
And I know as a person who shops sometimes, I'm not a big shopper, but fat people tend to be very loyal. Well, first of all, we don't have a lot of options. But, like I would go check out the Avenue once a month to see, because I'm like, oh, I need something, professional, or I need something. So I just swing by there once a month and they were like, hey, Crystal, and of course they don't exist anymore here, or anywhere, I don't think. But we're very loyal. So if we find somebody who has glasses that work for our face, we're going to be back a lot over the years, right? It's be like a long-term relationship.
Yeah. And it is, the cool thing is that, cause I'm pretty new to glasses, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should have been wearing them earlier, but I couldn't find things that fit me comfortably. Like and I felt like why should I get pushed into men's, like,
yeah,
so I sort of stayed out of it. And then Adam, really helped me figure out like the kind of style that I like that matches the face shape. And that, it really, once you kind of get into finding something that works for you, then you see how much easier your life is. Like I don't have eye strain anymore. And I look cute in them.
Yeah.
So.
Right? Yes, I love to wear glasses. I mean, I used to wear contacts sometimes, but I don't know. I think because like glasses are like an accessory, so it accessorizes you, and it sort of sets your face off with your outfit. I mean, I don't know. I like
it. Completes the look.
Totally, it's like you have put your earrings on or whatever. So
yeah,
correct.
So how did the two of you meet? And you said you've been married for 7 or 8 years, right? How did you guys meet originally?
We met on Match.com,
and
nice. Funnily enough, we actually lived maybe like not even a mile apart from each other.
Yeah, like half a mile.
And our paths would never have crossed. They just our lives on paper we're very different people.
Sometimes that works.
Yeah, it does work. So yeah, we met Match.com, and we're going to be celebrating 13 years in the new year together. And now we just opened up our business together. Although, from the get-go, Adam and I have always wanted to be our own, like, independent people, work-wise, career-wise, like life-wise, just sort of the path that we're both on in our lives, being a larger body, Adam with disability. Like we never really fit into just some mold. So.
Sure. The question everybody wants to know, Adam, is do you do yoga?
Actually, I do yoga with Rachel. She is my little personal yoga instructor. I like yoga a lot because it actually has helped with my back. So every once a blue moon, I get vertigo, and it was just hell. And the yoga really helps, especially with just keeping, as I'm now just turned 40 recently, keeps the muscles loose, and it feels great. It's not woo-woo-y or anything like that. People are like, oh, I don't really feel like, no, think of it like it's just a more sophisticated form of stretching.
Right, stretching, yeah.
And it feels great.
It's not all,
No.
I don't like any of that stuff, but I like definitely the science of it. It's like, okay, stretch this way, that'll stretch this muscle. And I'm like, that's perfect. And I feel so much better.
We don't have a large apartment, just 2 rooms. Bedroom, and then our other room is sort of our studio / office, and half of that is a yoga space. So I would say at least a few times a week we're in there like stretching, and I'm like getting him into these weird positions. I'm like, just lie here. All you have to do is lie here, and it'll help your back.
I love it.
It works.
So, Adam, how did you get a company interested in making frames for larger faces?
Well, that's funny. That's actually the backstory to that is my mother is also an optician.
Oh, okay.
And she got into the industry herself because of my disability.
Oh.
And she was always a woman of herself, always thinking outside the box, like to not try to go on a rambling backstory. is originally from Ohio, and so she worked at any other optical shop USA in Midwestern Ohio, and the frames were pretty bland even there when I was a kid growing up. And so she gave some self-initiative. She's like, you know what? Let's see if we can sex this up a bit.
Sex always sells.
Instead of just focusing the plain Jane glasses, nothing wrong with the word Jane, but it's saying, it's like, she's like, let's see what we can do. And she just took it from there. And her 30 something years of working in the industry, you start to notice gaps in patterns, which I've noticed myself too. When I go shopping, I'm like, why is there no plus size for this? It's like, this is such a market you could do. It's like, I'm not thinking it from the fashionable stance. I'm thinking it from like the business standpoint.
Sure.
Like, this is amazing. It's the same material, cotton, silk, linen. It's the same materials.
Yep.
But she took it at that, and they said, it's just like, okay, let's do this. Because usually most places we worked for, again, it was either not even petite, but right up the middle. Yeah. Right up the middle of frame size. The same thing with clothing. Well, clothing was a little bit more smaller. But that's how my mother ended up getting into it. She's like, you know what? Let's focus on this because no one else is doing it.
Mm-hmm. So then what did she do from there?
Once you lock in a market. Well, what she did was her and a couple of other friends who were also optician and salespeople, they went and started their own company.
Okay.
So they started Edison Optics down in Dallas, Texas. And so what they did was they started like anything, they do marketing and research and like, okay, what lines should we do? And they had a designer. And sure enough, their first line was called More to Love.
And really?
And that was the ladies. And then the men's line, which is also a larger size as well, that was called Rowdy Gentleman, which is the same thing. It's more of a plus size. They look great. I mean, they can be interchangeable as an optician. I've put men in ladies' frames. It's face shape. That's all that matters. It's the face shape, and they look great.
Yeah, that's what's for boys
the whole
or girls,
gender
men
thing
or women
doesn't really exist in the optical industry.
It's so old-fashioned too. It's like, come on now, people can wear whatever they want to wear.
It's plastic. It's metal. I tell people that, like, where's your men's and women's? And I just
there's no gender.
There's not really a gender. They're plastic and metal. They don't have genitalia, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Seriously, I put men in. They're like, oh my god, you look awesome, and they're like, well, it's this frame. It's like, who cares? You look great.
Nobody would know either.
And it's tortoise color too.
And that's very that's for everybody, right? I mean,
exactly.
So how did you get involved, Rachel?
With the More to Love eyewear? Huh? Yeah. So because when I had started More to Love, it was More to Love itself is about 8 or 9 years old in its various forms. Mm-hmm. And when my mother-in-law and her associates were making their optical shop, my More to Love stuff was becoming more popular. Like people were, because of friendships like you and I, like our community of body positivity is noticed, like it has spread. So when they said we want our first line to be plus size, are you on board? And I was like, absolutely. And they're like, we want to call it More to Love. We'll do a different trademark. And I'm like, okay. So as long as I get them. So that really was, so I was like the face of it for the launch of it, and just talking about it, wearing it. And Adam and I had always wanted to open up an optical shop, independent of this venture, and just through the timing, the licensing, the powers that be, it ended up coming that this year was going to be the year. Of course, COVID came in, but yeah, that it's just like anything, and this, like if your life will unwind when you actually step on the path that's in front of you.
Oh yes.
And why hide and deny the things that, my body was a thing that I was ashamed of for so long. I know Adam was just trying to find his place with his vision. It's like, let's put this together, because how it feels to feel like insecure about stuff, but at the same time, there's power in taking that back. Yes. And ownership. So perception, as much as it's about glasses, it's actually about like saying that you're allowed to have and celebrate the life that you do have. And businesses can reflect that, like where you spend your money is a sort of an empowerment position of what kind of things and people you support and ideals that you believe in. So it's bigger than just selling glasses.
And now you have a pair of glasses named after you. I saw you post on Facebook today.
too. They're right here.
That look is so cute. Oh, I
Yeah,
love
this is the Rachel. And I really love them. You know, it's funny because this color, like I would never pick this kind of color. This is blush for myself, but
okay.
Adam's like, try it on. It matches your skin, and it does. It like picks up my skin tone very well, and it comes.
I was going to say, are they rose gold? But they're blush. Like
Yeah, they're a little like
Blush is the official color.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's another blue one also. So yeah, this is called the Rachel, and I love it. And we're gonna get new glasses made for me. And I picked out another one that I thought people just to kind of see how their modern style. Like this is again a more burgundy color because of my coloring. And
yeah.
Bigger. These would be great for sunglasses. It really is just like having fun with your style and mixing and matching. Like I change my hair color a lot.
Yeah.
And now I've got glasses for when I've got red hair, when I've got my gold hair, when I've got whatever hair. So
Love it.
Yeah.
So Adam, what's important for people to know when they're going to go in and they're in reality about their body and their large melon and their large face? Like, what should they be looking for? What do they need to be aware of for their own face and their own eyes and their own vision? Like, I'm a larger person. Who should I be talking to?
Okay. Great question, and there's good answers to that. So it's sort of a two-pronged approach with that, because you have what your prescription is and then what the fashion fit is. So let's start off with the prescription. Depending on what your prescription is, you are going to have size limitations, or that can come down to what the patient is used to. I can give a million stories of plus-size men and ladies who they had a very large prescription and they flat out said, Adam, it's cool. I don't care. I know they're going to be Coke bottles, but I want to look awesome. I'm like, okay, you got it. And so then we move on to the fashion aspect of it is you want to create a balance with your face. So, excuse me. So when I have them put on the glasses,
my water here because I'm always coughing.
I always make sure that there's a balance between the forehead below and the jawline here. And it sits comfortably on the bridge. This is usually the number one point right here.
Right.
If it's not comfortable here, you're not wearing it. And so you have a nice area between your forehead now and your lower half where your eyes sit inside the frame, because sometimes the frame can either make your eyes look closer together, farther apart, too low, too high, whether the lens is touching the cheeks bones, depending on the size of your prescription. I have a very heavy prescription and how it feels when you're taking it on and off. So it's very flush. Because some places, you're right, they'll put it on, they're like, oh my God, you look amazing. And then it's like, you put it on, it's like, oh, you have a very strong prescription. This might not actually work because the lenses are going to fog up because they're too close to your face, or they're going to push off. Or because of the weight of the lenses, they're going to keep wanting to do this. They're going to want to keep slipping, and then you're going to find yourself in really big trouble.
That's my problem.
And then, and then the most important is the colors, because you want colors to match you.
You're right. That is the most important, Adam.
Because colors do two things to your skin tone. They only do two things. They either make your skin tone look warm or they make your skin tone look cool. So it depends on which area you want to go for with that.
Okay.
Not many people realize that too. And another way to tell is that if you have the same frame with different colors, that's the fun part too, because then you can see the difference of what's it going to do.
Sure.
Because most people out of nervousness, they'll go straight for black, and black does not work with everybody.
No, I agree.
Usually for me, with very pasty skin, it makes your skin tone look very pale and sickly.
Sickly. I like your dramatic terms. That's funny. So, Adam, I've noticed when I've gone to get, glasses at those places that you find at all the malls all across America, it's really important that they know where your pupils line up, right? Because there's something about the way that the lenses are created that has to be in the right place.
Correct. It is, because the lens itself, it's hard to picture. Try to picture in your head. The lens is a prism, essentially. So picture a three-dimensional pyramid. And so when the light goes straight through, that's where the focus is of the prescription. So if it's too high or low in any direction, you get what's called, big science word coming up, induced prismatic effect. Long story short is it feels like you're walking uphill or downhill. Yes. And also, too, you're not getting the true effect of the prescription. So you get you get these little minor vertigo attacks.
Yep,
so what you do is what's called an ocular center measurement, because there's the geometric center of the lens, and then there's the ocular center of the lens, which is where your eye hits. Now, depending on the strength of the prescription and the size of the lens, you don't always necessarily have to do it. Because here's another science thing coming out. Rachel's like, "Oh my god, another science thing."
It's okay. Bring it on.
I love it.
The stronger,
cool.
the stronger the prescription, the smaller the area gets for error. So you have to be spot on. Like when people get a +1 at any other, you know, pharmacy or grocery store for readers, the area is this big, which means your eye can be anywhere and you can see it just fine. So the more complex, the margin of error shrinks to almost nothing. So you got to be super careful and hit it right on the dot. Because it doesn't matter the size of the lens. If you get it just correctly and you put them on, you're like, oh, this is great. And you're out the door.
Right. So this question is for either one of you, but is there a certain type of frame that looks better on fat faces?
That more so is depending upon the shape of the face itself, because you're correct. Some people say fat faces, you're correct. Genuinely, it goes down into personal preference, but also the overall shape. Like, because sometimes you'll have a fat person, they'll have a heart-shaped face, or they'll have a round.
I think I have a heart-shaped, right? Don't I have that? Like,
yes, I have a round face.
It comes out here and then points in. So I have a heart-shaped fat face.
You want the shape to flow, to blend in with you. Think of it this way. You want your friends and family to recognize you through the glasses, like saying, oh my God, you look amazing. I love it. Instead of being like, Rachel, is that you? You don't want that. You don't want that.
I just want to show you a pair of glasses that do not work for my face. So you can see.
That's a great example.
See? Well, maybe this is it's too long.
It's okay.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, they're there, like they'll work. But if I put on then another pair that's meant for my face.
Yes, I love those.
Just like, and that's just
always the hardest part.
They're still the same width, they're still the same everything. It's just the shape of your face comes into play.
Yeah.
And that's really what Adam is awesome at. Just like
I love round frames personally, but I know they're not going to look good on me. Like right now with the fashion trends, right now what's really what a lot of ladies want and some men, the gold round frames, the big round gold frames. And some ladies, even fat faces who I've had, they look awesome. Some looked awesome, adorable, cute, sexy. And others, I'm just like, it doesn't work because your face itself is round. Like I have a round face. If I wear round with round, I look like a big pumpkin head. And it doesn't work. And I'm also not afraid to tell you that it doesn't work.
Oh, that's what I love.
I tell people that too. I say, if you look stupid, I'm going to tell you. And
but he doesn't say it like that. He has never said anything.
He's very diplomatic.
Why don't we give this one a shot? Very diplomatic.
Because it's hard, as you know, with anybody, is you fall in love with something in a magazine or online, and then you want to come on and you want that hairstyle. You want those shoes. And it's just like, those shoes isn't going to look good on you. That hairstyle is not going to look good on you. Like, it's like these frames are just, they're not going to work. If you really want them, fine, I'll sell them to you. But it's just like, as an optician, as a professional, it's just like, I am going to put the brakes on. It's like, that won't work because I'm going to guarantee you compliments. That's a lot of things people don't do. I guarantee compliments.
That's awesome. How often should people get their prescription checked?
Think of it like this way, like the dentist. You should go, every state is different. Massachusetts, you can go 2 years. Most states, it's every year. But I treat it like the dentist, go once a year. I've had a lot of patients say, well, my eyes are just fine. That's awesome. That's great. You want your eyes to be fine. Like me, it's like, I don't want cavities. They suck. I hate it. It's $90 a tooth with insurance.
Right.
But I still go every year and get it checked out.
I think in California, it's every 2 years. If you want to go in between, like with me, I have Kaiser, then you have to pay for the year in between, which is fine. I usually go, well, I just have so many glasses around, my prescription hasn't changed that much in the last 10 years. So I can usually get away with 2 years, but I do like to get a new look every year if I can afford it,
Yeah, exactly. And some things stay in trend. I mean, I've had patients, they bring in the role like, if you take just like a car or pants or a dress, you take care of it, the frame is going to last you a long time. And we just switch out the lenses. I've done that.
Yeah. And if you buy like a more classic look, right, then those kind of last more, where the gold round frames is more trendy. And
my dad still has his aviators when he joined the Air Force in 1972. He just changes out the prescription.
That's my dad too. Yeah. Same thing. Also Air Force, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you for all that. That's so helpful. And I can't wait to share this information with everybody. And we'll definitely put all your information in the show notes so people can find you. And if they want to buy some glasses from you, can they do like look at the frames like from far away, like, obviously like from via Zoom, or are there apps where go try different glasses on for their face shape?
They do. We don't have that because that is a very big technology.
Sure.
I mean, when I worked at other places and they made lots of money, they were like, "We're working on it, but it's going to take some time because it's just it's the AI in it. It has nothing to do with the finance. It has the artificial intelligence to create such an app in order to do that. That's why you can never beat, as much as we love technology, you just can't beat a good old fashioned coming in and trying it on. To physically feel it. You can't beat it. And I do. My heart goes out to those that are far away. It's like,
I know.
So bad.
Yeah. And what we're doing because of COVID, it's impacted so much. So people have to wear masks, which again, like, you can't get the full picture or what your face shape is. What we've been doing is when people make appointments to upload a headshot of them just straight on, so that when before they come in, we've already like picked out some things just in general. Just anything that we can do to kind of help make what's already a really stressful situation, on top of COVID, on top of trying to buy, like, easing that as much as possible.
Great service. So then you could do that for people who are all over the country then, potentially. Maybe not do the lenses, but maybe sell them the frames.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the door.
I've done that for years on end. I've just sold the frame, and it's like, there you go. Any questions, still give me a call. If he needs fitted, look around and see who can fit them for you.
Love it. That's so cool. So to switch gears a little bit, let's talk a little bit about COVID, because I know, Rachel, and did you both end up having it?
Yes. We both had totally two different experiences, so definitely ask us both. Like,
okay. All right, let's start with you, Rachel.
Two sides of a coin. Yep, Rachel first.
And the reason I want to bring this up is because if you are a person of size, you know that you probably are hearing from family members and friends. They're so worried about you. They're so concerned about you because you're fat and you might get COVID. And so they're trying to scare the crap out of us to go on a diet or something. I don't know. Rachel, what was your experience with it?
So my experience was I started to get sick around like the middle towards the end of March. And honestly, like at first I thought it was just a little cold. Like I felt some discomfort, but it wasn't enough to really like think. And that's sort of what is common with COVID. It's not like it's a cold or a flu where like it has a clear start and a clear end.
Yeah.
So my symptoms kept on rotating from body soreness. I had very, very difficult time breathing, aches and pains, stomach, like everything, all kind of ebbing and flowing. And I, unfortunately, when I really was like at the peak of being sick, I was out of health insurance, just the way that our life had, like Adam left his job. So we were just going to be in this gap. It wouldn't have mattered, COVID or not, like this was going to be the time. And I had to go to the hospital because I was having a lot of difficulty breathing and my fever was spiking. So for me, all said and done, I was pretty much like acutely sick for about 6 to 7 weeks. And it was horrible. And the like shock of, one, getting sick, two, right when, especially here in Boston, when things were shutting down, nobody really knew how to treat it. I didn't get any medication. I had to just like go back to, thank God I know body positivity, because without that, knowing how to just be with yourself, you know what I'm talking about when like shit is bad. Like there's this level of acceptance that I feel like people in body positivity that have been added, I could just hold that space a bit more for myself. And then I, eventually over the course of another few weeks and months, to be honest, it kind of all came back to normal. I do have some lingering effects. Adam and I did have COVID over the same period of time, but his symptoms were not as intense as mine, but he's still experiencing stuff from it. I'll let you explain the rest.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us, Adam.
Okay. So mine was at about, I would say it really hit which was funny because I was timing it on like almost the 1st of April. I started to feel a little off, like said the last week of March. And again, it was just kind of like, I get seasonal colds. So that's my first thought was. I was like, oh, it must be a sinus infection. And it came for me. It came in little itty bitty steps. First step was I was coughing. I never cough. I always sneeze, and so I kept coughing. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. And then I was coughing harder, and it had like that taste of blood in your mouth. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely not good. Kept coughing, and then it started tasting very metallic-y.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay, this definitely doesn't feel. And I started to feel. Then the cough stopped, and then I went to. I started feeling feverish and started feeling more fatigue. Like certain parts of my body would never felt sore. Like it was along my pecs. I was like, ow, these are really sore moving all around. And I had a low fever and it kept going up and down. Like it never went higher than probably 100. But for me, it definitely was fatigue, definitely feeling extremely tired. What's funny is I have allergies as well. And this was the reverse. My nose was completely open the whole time, which was weird to me. I could breathe through my nose. And normally it's always shut. And I never sneezed. I didn't sneeze the entire time I had COVID. I coughed.
I didn't have it all. I have the bronchial issues. I didn't cough at all.
I could breathe just fine the whole time. I could breathe just fine. However, my sense of smell and taste, gone, completely gone.
Did that happen to you, Rachel, too, the taste thing?
Yeah, my taste and smell gone. And honestly, I would say it's maybe back 70 to 80% of how it used to be. Things don't taste as full as they used to. And I've been reading more and more about why that may be. And because of the way the COVID comes into our bodies, predominantly through our mouth and nose, that these organs get attacked so harshly at first. Like they get the full brunt of everything, and it just clears everything out.
Yeah, mine was exactly
everything.
Yep, mine was exactly what the health professionals were saying. Mine was exactly 2 weeks to the day. So they were right on the ball on that one, because I was counting the days. I've never counted the days so much in my life. It was like day 2, day 3, because they were like, well, if you make it through day 18, you're not going to die. And it's just like, okay. Because I didn't have any symptoms. I mean, I didn't have any underlying conditions.
Right, yeah.
So right at the 2-week mark, it stopped.
I know this is just anecdotal, but I have, I guess he's like a third cousin of mine who's a large man, and he's in his 70s, and he lives in San Diego, and he got it really bad. And he was on a ventilator for 41 days. He's out of the hospital. He's, got a lot to deal with still, but he's a fat man who's older, survived COVID. It is possible. I know the world's trying to scare the crap out of us for whatever reason. And of course, we should all be afraid of COVID and have a healthy, concern about it and be safe and wear your mask and wash your hands. But people can live from COVID. So don't buy into the scare tactics. Yeah. Take it seriously, of course, but it's not all doom and gloom. It sounds like
the same as my father. My father survived. He beat cancer. And it was that January that he got the all clear from the doctors. And so my family was scared to death of my dad, of all people. Yeah. And he loves to travel. And he loves to eat. He's like, I can't stay inside for the next, for the rest of my life. Yeah. And so he's like, you know what? I'm just going to treat it how I treat everything else. I'm going to do the best I can. Wear my mask, wash my hands. Yep. And so far, so good.
That's all we can do. Yeah.
Just take the necessary precautions and you'll be fine. He's flown. He went to see his grandchildren in Ohio from Texas.
Oh, good for him.
So that's what I mean. Like it's like, okay, it's like his white blood cell count is next to nothing from the chemo. And
we need to wrap this up, but I was going to tell you, one of my best friends, her parents are 85 and 82. And she keeps saying they went on the COVID world tour. They decided to go on a road trip to Nebraska.
Probably a smart time, yeah.
Hey, play it safe. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and I just want this if I know we have time. But the thing about being a larger body, the odds are that the only person that will truly understand your health is yourself, and the way that we, being fat, being whatever you want to call it, tuning into, you can't, your body doesn't lie to you. It's just that process of believing that you can take care of yourself in whatever size, but especially when you're a larger body, that listen more. And, you know, usually I would say inflammation is probably going to be one of the biggest things for larger bodies because of just the metabolic issue around weight to begin with. And then COVID is sort of an immune disease and inflammation. It's just, don't let that stop you. And if I can be a resource to that, like I've written a few articles about being larger with COVID, we don't need shame. We don't need shame on this front at all.
No.
There's enough evidence
Anywhere,
that
but
shows
especially here.
shame is only detrimental to our health, to our mental health, to our physical health. So we all know shame doesn't work. So let's
it doesn't.
Bullshit. Hey, Rachel, would you send me those articles so I can put those in the show notes too?
Yep. I'll put the medium one and then the one with Christy, the podcast.
Yeah, that's a great one. Okay.
Cool.
You guys, thank you so much. It was so fun talking with both of you.
You're
I really
welcome.
appreciate
it. Was great talking. It's always fun.
I'll send you the link tonight with the final broadcast on YouTube. If you guys want to share it, that'd be lovely.
We will. Absolutely. We will. Thank you so much, Crystal.
All right. You two take good care of yourselves. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. And thanks for being a resource, Rachel, for people that want to reach out.
Absolutely.
Take care. Bye.